Hello, I'm Judy Sedgman. I've been a teacher, a mentor, a consultant, and a facilitator with the three principles of mind, consciousness, and thought for more than 20 years. One of the most frequently asked questions over the past few years in seminars and groups that I've facilitated has been, how do you square this with that very popular notion about the power of thought that's expressed in the book The Secret? I think this is a really deep and important question for people involved in the principles to understand, because it draws the distinction between a spiritual understanding that leads to happiness no matter what and wishful thinking. A lot of the talk about the power of thought, even before this book became so popular, had to do with somehow using your thinking to get what you want. I've had a friend who for years has said that she finds parking spaces that way, which is kind of harmless, but she honestly thinks that if she's driving around the block and really focusing on parking, find me a space, that she's more likely to get a parking space. That's wishful thinking. That's trying to think your way into things in the outside world, things that you want or things that you've attached your happiness to. And the principles really have absolutely nothing to do with that. Nothing. It's a very, very important distinction. Because the principles don't have so much to do with the outside world. They have nothing really to do with the outside world. They have to do with finding a sense of well-being, confidence, poise, calm, happiness, true happiness, spiritual comfort, without any reference to the outside world. So it doesn't matter if you get what you want. It doesn't matter if you understand your thinking. You can be happy no matter what. That isn't to say that it isn't a really nice thing in life to have things that you want, or to be able to succeed or meet your goals and objectives, or to keep your mind on what you're looking for. That I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that you should turn into a vegetable with no interest in the outside world. But I'm saying that happiness is never attained from stuff. And when I talk to my students about that, I say, try to remember when you were a child, something you really, 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 really wanted, maybe your first bicycle, and how you didn't have it and you wanted it, and it was so important to you, and you thought, oh, I'll be so happy if I have this bicycle. That's all I want. I want this bicycle. If I get my bicycle, I'll be so, so happy. So you get your bicycle, and it's pretty magical for a few minutes. But after a while, it's just your bicycle. And there's something else you really, really, really want. Because we can't really find happiness by getting or attaching ourselves to things that have no spiritual connection to life. And yet, if we're happy people, the irony is we're more inclined to succeed at what we want. Because people who operate from strength, who operate from a real understanding, a depth, tend to succeed. Their mind is free and clear. They're present in the moment. So they're more likely to notice opportunity, to be confident about taking advantage of opportunity, and to step up. But the principles aren't about using thoughts or thinking certain content. What the principles do, or an understanding of the principles does, it gives us a real truthful, deep, profound connection to the universal spiritual strength that defines life. So as you understand that mind, the energy of all things, is how we create images and ideas and expressions in our own minds, thoughts, and that we have the gift of consciousness to make them appear real so that we can enjoy and create in our lives. And that that's a constant flow, that the principles describe the flow of energetic life. That means that we can't frighten ourselves with upsetting thoughts. And we can't delude ourselves either. And there's a certain level of delusion in wishful thinking. If I think hard enough, because what happens if it doesn't work out? People tend to blame themselves, or other people blame them. Well, you would have gotten it if you used your thinking better. And that's not how life works. Mind, consciousness, and thought are spiritual truths. They describe how we become creative parts of life itself. We're elements in this game of life. And we're creating all the time. And we do create our experience via our thought. But our experience is a spiritual experience. It's not tangible. We're not talking about creating a new sofa. We're talking about the ability to create from strength, from joy, from happiness. And then see how it turns out.